full-time practicing law. I was working with OTB. And the reason that the topic today of copyright is so important to me is because I was really the first lawyer to deal with any copyright cases. In Palau, there have been 4 copyright cases that I know of that have been filed, and I did 3 of them. So I was personally on the ground trying to protect people from stealing other people's work and making sure that people were compensated. So let's start with, what is a copyright? So everybody knows what a house is. A house is real property. Okay, land is real property. Personal property, jewelry, your laptop. What is intellectual property? Intellectual property is what we're talking about tonight. Intellectual property can be copyrights, it can be patents, it can be trademarks, it can be trade secrets. All of those combined together are intellectual property. We're going to focus tonight on just one form of intellectual property. Only one of the kinds of intellectual property there is, and that is a copyright. So copyright is a right that you have that's assigned to the property that you have that's intellectual property. And it has value, just like land, just like jewelry, just like a laptop. It's just a different form of property. A copyright, the copyright itself, grants the person who created the copyright in their work the exclusive right to determine how their work is going to be used. So, in other words, if someone wants to record your music, they need a license from you. If someone wants to make a video of yours, they need a license from you. If they want to distribute your song, they need a license from you. You get to determine how they use your work. If they want to make copies of it, they need a license from you. If they want to make a new arrangement of your music, they need a license from you. If they want to perform your song, they need a license from you. So you own all of that. To understand what happened, you have to understand that music copyrights are usually divided into 2 kinds of rights. One is for the music and the lyrics, and the other is for the sound recording. So there's the musical composition, and then there's the master. Okay? In Swift's case, she owned the musical composition of her songs, because she was the songwriter, and she was the lyricist. So she owned her musical composition, but her record label, they owned the masters. They owned all the original sound recordings. So she was not the owner of the sound recordings. The label owned the masters, they owned the videos, they owned the album art, and she, as the musical composer and the lyricist, still owned her own writing of the work and her composition, but not the sound recording. So, she had a contract, and in the contract it said she could not re-record her music until the year 2020. When 2020 came, since she wrote every single song that was released on those first 6 albums that were covered, she owned the musical composition copyright, and she began re-recording the music. Then, because she was a lot smarter, she signed her next deal with a Universal Music Group, which allowed her to own all of her masters. So she now owns the musical composition and the masters of every song she makes. But she was able to re-record, and now you'll see Taylor's version, and those are the ones that she is going to make the royalties from versus the, her old label, which was the name of Big, the name of the label originally, I guess. But anyway, that's how she got around that. And it was really ingenious, and it took a lot of work to do, but it's paying off, as we all know.
I'm going to talk about my role as an owner of a couple of hospitality venues, specifically Canoe House and Ellie Wright. And what I was asked to really discuss was, how can you guys make money from these venues? So you're in Palau, it's not a huge market, but you know, there's still a way to do this. So, and I don't have any fancy music slides. And I can't even try to keep up with Cassie. But first off, who are we? Okay, so and this really is not just about play. This is kind of universal. Bars and restaurants, just like any other business, we're in business to make money. That's what it's for, right? How do we do that? We sell food and drinks, right? That's where we get the money from. We sell food and drinks. People give us their money. We give them something else. But we're also involving a few other things, all right? If I was just selling you, a cheeseburger, I can do that standing on the side of the road. But when people are coming out to dinner, or going out to a bar, they're not just there to buy a cheeseburger, right? They are there for the quality. They've got a consistent venue where they know that they're going to get the same thing all the time. And they like that bacon cheeseburger, they like that pizza, or they like the wings. That's what the flavor they're looking for. The service. The service is, the waitresses come up and they know your name. You feel like you sit down and you're getting good service. They give you gloves to eat your chicken wings with. All those little things that make up the service, whether it's a canoe house and it's just the bartenders come up and say, hey, can I get you another beer? Or it's, let's say, LEI, where the ladies are coming up and changing your silverware and pouring your wine and all that kind of stuff. But that's all the service level. Ambiance. Between the two, there's a very, very big difference. Canoe House is a chill, island-style bar with tiki theme and thatch roof and all kinds of local stuff. And LLI is an upper scale, foo-foo music and nice lighting and candles and romance. But that's part of the ambiance that we provide, and we're creating kind of an experience for those guests. Two very different experiences, but both manufactured. And we both, either one, we're looking at saying, we're going to give you the food, we're going to give you the experience, we're going to give you the service. And then finally that experience at the bottom end. So what is the experience? The experience is interaction. It's a little bit of extra something that goes into your meal. So you're sitting there with your girlfriend, getting ready to propose, and everything's lovely, but now there's a little band playing in the background, right? That adds a whole different 3D experience to it. Or you're hanging out down at Canoe House and you're having a beer with your buddies, but now the band comes on. It's like, oh wow, this is really cool. You kind of get into it. So that adds another level of experience, and where live music can really come in and kind of expand what we're trying to create is kind of a full, total 5 sense experience, right? So you guys are going to come in. So that's you. The bar or the restaurant is going to exist with or without you. Right? They're just looking to sell food, and they're just looking to have their service, they're looking at their ambiance. But what you can add to the equation is really the big question. Now, why don't I have a couple of white guys up here? The real reason for this is, Cassie and I are from Florida. We go down to the Florida Keys to see my sister once in a while. These two guys have been playing the same bar for 20 years, or longer if you can't tell. And they're very consistent. And they show up every Thursday night at 6 o'clock at sunset, and they play with the same crowd. Sometimes it's empty, sometimes it's not, but they're very consistent, and they've created a following that is now known. So if you're swinging, if you're anywhere near mile marker 151 in Key Largo, you're going to stop at this bar, because these guys have been so consistent in selling themselves as part of the experience. So they've actually become the reason that people go to this bar down in the Florida Keys.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mad Mac. This is the Toon Tribe making we're gonna perform our own original song called Marulati.
Yeah,
got a stretch just so right. Person at the wrong time. Play along the line, shoe find your back. Thought in my rhymes, the cat's my leg. Makes me heavy, shots on head. You ain't gotta worry, like this dancing. This Cyrus, you and true. If I lose you, you lose yourself too. If I lose you, you lose yourself too. If I lose you, you lose yourself too. If I lose you, you lose yourself too.
But